Okay, this is going to be lesson 10-3 notes, and we're going to work on day 1 only, which will just be the front page. Day 2 we'll work on in the next video. Okay, so when we're looking at this, just to review, so when we're going to be working on adding and subtracting square roots. Okay, so what does it look like now when we've got to add and subtract these guys? So before we do this, let's go back up and review just some basic combining like terms, because these are very similar concepts. This guy and this guy are very, very similar. So up here on this guy here, right, combine like terms, so the x's are the same, so you would say that that's 9x. Okay, then you go over on this next one. Again, you're just going to be combining like terms. You're going to put the 12 or the x's together. Okay, and then you're going to put the y's together. So when I do this problem here, 12x minus 8x is 4x. And then when I combine the y's there, I get a plus 9y. Okay, so square root rules are going to be very, very similar. They need to have the same square root in order to add or subtract. Okay, so since both of these have the square root of 11, we can add them up. And just like what we did right here on this guy, we're going to take the 2 plus the 7 and get 9. Notice how the x didn't change, all right? We just left it as 9x. It's the same thing down here. We're going to go ahead and we're going to add the 2 and the 7 to get the 9. And then we're not going to change the square root at all. We know we can add these up because these square roots are the same. So this is going to be 9 root 11. And that's going to be your final answer. Okay? Same thing here on number 2. Okay, just like up here you combined your x's and your y's, you're going to do the same thing here. You are going to combine your square roots of 5s with each other, and then you're going to combine the square roots of 7 with each other. Okay, so when I look at this, 12 minus 8 is going to be 4 root 5. Again, notice how I'm not changing those square roots, just like I didn't change my x up here. Okay, and then I'm going to put together my square roots of 7 here. So I'm going to put these guys together. 3 plus 6 is 9, and then root 7. Okay, now you cannot add these up because these are different square roots. Just like you couldn't add up here the x and the y, you can't put a square root of 5 and a square root of 7 together when we're adding. They have to be like square roots to add. Okay, let's go to the next example here. So on this one, since I've got the square root of 5 on all parts, I can go ahead and add and subtract, combine like terms. So 6 plus 2 is 8, minus 5 is 3. So I'm going to get 3 root 5. Again, don't change the square root, okay? We're just combining like square roots. Okay, so now looking at this one. So if I'm looking at this, I'm going to put the square root of 2's together, okay? And then I'm going to put the square roots of 11 together, okay? So on this first one here, 7 root 2 minus 6 root 2 is 1 root 2. Now, if you just want to put the square root of 2, those are the same thing. It doesn't matter how you write that. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and put together the middle here. 8 square root of 11 minus 4 square root of 11. So 8 minus 4 is 4. So I have plus 4 and then root 11. Again, it doesn't matter which one you do there. Both of those are saying the same thing. Now, you can't add these up because this is a square root of 2 and that's a square root of 11. All right, going down to the next one. Now, if you can break down, you have to break down first. Okay, so this 27, I can break to 3 and 9. And then on the 9, I can break that to 3 and 3. So 3's will pair up and move out. So 6 times 3 is 18. And then I still have this square root of 3 right here. So 18 root 3. Okay, I'm going to go to the next guy. So like 3 and 4. And then 2 and 2. So 2's pair up and move out. So 8 times 2 is 16. And then again, I have the square root of 3 left over here because I have a 3 left over. Okay, on this guy, let's see, it would be 3 and 25. And then 25 would go to 5 and 5. So 5's pair up and move out. So 2 times 5 is 10. And then I have, in this case, the square root of 3 left over again. So square root of 3. So now, since these all are like square roots, they're all square roots of 3, I can go ahead and add the outside numbers. So I'm going to take 18 plus 16 plus 10. And when I do that, I end up with 44. So I have 44 root 3 as my answer there. Okay. All right, let's try this one. So let's go ahead and break down the square root of 20. So 20 is going to break down to 4 and 5. And then the 4 will break down to 2 and 2. So the 2's pair up and move out. So I've got 4 root 5. All right, on the 45 there, I get 5 and 9. And the 9's pair up and move out. So 3 and 3 is 9. So I've got 9 root 5 again. Okay, so again, notice I've got 5 left over on each. All right, 180. So I'm going to break this down to like 18 and 10. So this will go to 2 and 9. The 9 will go to 3 and 3. And then I'm going to break the 10 down to 2 and 5. So now when I pair this up, I got a pair of 3's, and then I also have a pair of 2's. All right, so 3 times 2 is 6 on the outside, and then I still have the square root of 5 right here, so root 5. Now again, since these are all the same square roots, I go ahead and add them up. So I'm going to take 4 plus 9 plus 6, and when I do that, I get the square root of 19, root 5. Okay. All right, last problem for the day. So it says find the perimeter of the rectangle. All right, so perimeter means add up all the sides. Okay, so you know me, you know I like my pictures. So when I'm looking here, it's telling me that this is my length, 8 root 7 plus 4 root 5. Okay, and then over here I know my width is 5 root 7 minus 3 root 5. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and just fill in the rest of my sides. So 8 root 7 plus 4 root 5. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. 5 root 7 minus 3 root 5. Okay, so now just combine like square roots. So I can put square roots of 7's together. Okay, and then I can put the square roots of 5's together. All right, so starting with my 7's here, square root of 7. I've got 8 plus 5 plus 8 plus 5, and I end up with 26 root 7. And then I'm going to put together my square roots of 5. So I've got 4 minus 3 is 1, so 1 and 1 would be 2. So I end up with plus 2 root 5. Now, since this is a word problem, when we have a label, let's go ahead and label it inches. So there is my perimeter. And that concludes day 1 notes.